I don't want to get in the way of these two. I think the gap on the books between the MVP race is much more narrow, more a representation of this than what you'll see, which is basically handing Nikola Jokic his third straight MVP. And I have to say, I vehemently disagree with that. The MVP is wearing red here. The MVP was not picked last in the NBA All-Star game. Welcome back, friends. It's been a little bit. I know we had the nice break, the time off. Hopefully you've been enjoying the leans and the locks from Lindy throughout the week. I've got you here, Eytan, of course, on the weekend. So thank you, first and foremost, for joining us. We're going to hit every game on this Saturday slate, as we always do. 7 games to hit. I have money for you on DraftKings. I have this Discord, hit a monster parlay. It's kind of what we do, hit these major parlays. Don't worry, I'll tell you about that as we get closer here. I kind of just, if I can, just let me center myself. And that looks much better. I'm sorry, but that looks much better than where we began. Now you can see definitively who the MVP is. Neither one of these guys have won jack shit, so spare me on that. All right, let's dive into it. This is what we do here. First play, first and foremost, let's look at the mentality of a team that is tanking. That is the Detroit Pistons. They want the number 1 pick, without a doubt. Absolutely. That's what they're looking at here. Okay. The other side of this is the Toronto Raptors, who have been playing well recently and definitely have a nice little stretch where they're out to win their 4th straight. Here's the problem. It's not that they're going to lose this game. Detroit is going to do everything possible at the end game here to lose this contest. But staying in it is a different story. When you've got younger players and you've got a situation right now where you're feeding into younger players who don't know any better, that still lack talent, I get that. And they're not going to outmatch this Toronto team, who's kind of in a little bit of a weird spot of their own. But what I love here is that, and we'll take the 7 points for Detroit, because while Toronto needs this win and Toronto needs to continue to improve their spot overall, I think what I'm looking at is just the mentality of taking on a team that has zero interest in playing basketball. That's where you get caught. Toronto isn't good enough to overlook anybody. This is the noon standalone game, noon Eastern, earlier if you live out west. I don't like Toronto coming in for this early spot and just smashing Detroit. You give me at that key number at 7 with the Pistons. We just saw this against Orlando, and I know Orlando, Toronto. Okay, but we just saw this with the Pistons. This is the big play. We're going to give this its own time here, the standalone game, and we're going to take the 7 points, all right? That's the easiest thing we can do right now. Take the 7. Now, you want easy? This is what I have. $5 turned into $150. Simple, easy. Take 90 seconds out of it's less. It's actually less than that. On average, it's like 72 seconds out of your life. Click this link below for DraftKings. Sign up, deposit $5. Find the heaviest money line favorite you can find out there. College basketball would be a great place to start. Just find the heaviest college basketball money line favorite. Put that $5 on it, and that's going to turn into $150, and then you can hang with us. I'll tell you about the Discord. I'll tell you about some other stuff here, including, of course, a new show alert. Uh-oh. That's right. Monday through Friday right here, live. The Odd Shop. Yeah, we'll talk a lot of NBA, a lot of basketball. This is your place, 4 to 5 Eastern. Lofty, Lindy, Raza, myself, Ehrenberg. You're going to see them all. All right, just a quick little reminder there. That's all. I had to let you know. We move on. Next game here. Pacers. I don't understand how the Indiana Pacers right now are road dogs to the point where they are plus 3.5. You're going to look at the record. You're going to tell me that this Pacers team has dropped 17 of 20. That the Orlando Magic have figured something out despite narrowly escaping, mind you, just narrowly escaping the same Detroit Pistons team that we just took 7 against the Raptors. What's changed here? I think Indiana is starting to play better. And I'm not giving you the bullshit coach speak that you got following their most recent loss to Boston, but I actually think they are showing signs of improvement. It's not going to immediately show up in the win column when you're taking on a team like Boston to try to snap out of a funk. This is a really good spot for Indiana. This is a manageable spot outside of one area, one key area for the Pacers. This is a really manageable spot. And I like Indiana to win this game outright. I'll take the plus money, lean Pacers for them to win outright. But we have to address the fact that they get slaughtered in the height standings. Like when it comes to height in that category, the Pacers do not match up well with Banchero and the rest of this front court. Rebounds. You would think rebounds are going to be a problem. You make shots. You don't need to rebound as much. You knock down shots. You get aggressive. You get to the free throw line. All of a sudden, rebounds aren't that big of a deal. Look, if you're missing shot after shot and you're settling for shitty possessions, you need an offensive rebound or two to bail you out. You need to be able to stop another team's run by grabbing a rebound. So we'll see. I don't think it hurts, really, the Pacers on the defensive end for their side, where they're giving up offensive rebound after offensive rebound. But it is something to be concerned about. It is something to bring up. I recognize that. But John Kruk once famously said, or maybe it was Mike Piazza, but one of those guys famously said, in regards to baseball players aren't athletes, you hit the ball far enough, you don't have to run. You knock down shots, you don't need to stress rebounds as much. Look, teams are missing, you're giving up offensive rebound left and right, that's a different story. Move on to Charlotte. Charlotte, what a night they had. You know, the ups and downs of just being the Charlotte Hornets, relying on LaMelo Ball, and that's really what they did. They relied on LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball was the main vehicle for the Charlotte Hornets in Minnesota. You can't rely on anybody else at this point. Terry Rozier is a ghost. He's a shell. Whatever you're going to get from P.J. Washington or anybody else in the Gordon Hayward, it's volatile. LaMelo Ball is the only real redeeming quality of this team. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. They're hosting a Miami Heat team who has to be a little frustrated. They come into a game at the beginning of the day thinking, well, this is a great opportunity for us. Friday night, we're off the break. The Bucks aren't even playing Giannis. Wait. Oh, they are playing Giannis. Okay. Well, Bobby Portis comes back. Look at that. The Miami Heat were embarrassed. Flat out embarrassed. Great spot for them. Second leg of the back-to-back in Charlotte. If they beat Milwaukee, if they blew Milwaukee out, if they survived Milwaukee, any of those capacities, you could look at letdown. You can look at that clearly from a Miami team. This Heat team has been playing good enough recently where this is bounce back, not letdown. This is not losing 2 games in a row, the second on the same back-to-back to the Charlotte Hornets. Regardless of what you saw from Charlotte and Minnesota, we're not going to take that leap. We can't. We simply can't take that leap. We have to take the Miami Heat here, laying 4.5. Again, lean. We've been leaning 3 plays, 3 leans so far. We'll get to a lot coming up, but the big thing for the Miami Heat is just simply bounce back. This wasn't a matter of injury. This wasn't a matter of just bad team performance over the last week or so that was just building up to a disappointing loss. This was losing to a better basketball team with Giannis intact. And that is enough motivation here where they do not settle. I don't think they come out, they go through motions. This is a chance for Miami to really lose this game if they do that. And the Heat, well coached, good veteran leadership, good bounce back opportunity here. Absolutely. No bounce back here for the Knicks needed as they just come up with a humongous victory on Friday night. I mean, that team was dead to rights in the first quarter, and they come back with a huge win against the Washington Wizards. Julius Randle, just absurd. Absolutely absurd. Jalen Brunson not really doing much. You had some other guys just not really doing a ton. And it was all about what? Julius Randle. The Knicks, when they're playing like that, are a problem all around. Because as we just saw, you don't need 46, I'm sorry, for Randle specifically. I apologize. You don't need everybody else all hands on deck. That doesn't mean you're going to get 46 from Randle, but you can get 35 tonight from Jalen Brunson. You have two guys who, if they are hot and if they're rotating nights, to give another guy, not to say to give him the night off, but when Jalen Brunson puts up 13, 4, and 9, you got a chance then. You got a chance to still win a game. You got a chance. RJ Barrett gives you 14 points. Now, granted, it's spread out a little more outside of what you got heavyweight attempt there from Julius Randle to stay atop conversations left and right. But you beat a good Wizards team, decent to good Wizards team on the road. Not great, right? But you beat a good team. You came back. You've got momentum. This is where we do institute our first lock of the night. And it's the New York Knicks against a Pelicans team that is still not fully back. We know what the Zion situation here. But they're getting 3 on the road. They come into this losing 2 straight. They're a little shaky. A little shaky. And if Jonas Valanciunas isn't taking advantage of some opportunities up front, you've got so much weight on Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. I don't think this is a good enough basketball team here to do what the Knicks did, which is survive everybody having a decent to off night and one guy dominating. If McCollum drops 35 and everybody else is quiet, Pelicans ain't winning this game. Jalen Brunson puts up 35, 9, and 7, and everybody else is kind of doing what Brunson did tonight. Knicks win this game comfortably. Let's lock it up. First lock of the night. Love it. Knicks -3. Good spot for them to be in. Just win by more than one possession. If it's tight, expect free throws down the line. We love that. All right. Let's get to the first one of these guys here. We're going to go back to back, then I'm going to tell you about the Discord. All right? At least I'm giving you a heads up. We'll go back to back. Let's start with the joke. Look, I mean, the reality right now is that both of these guys are doing amazing shit on the floor. Absolutely amazing shit. Nikola Jokic is basically doing it for the most part all on one side, outside of rebounds, of course. You see Embiid defensively aggressive. I mean, the guy had a non-COVID illness, which I just assume is the shits, fever in the shits. And he was all over the place. Just absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposed to talk about this guy. Not that guy. That guy's coming up. Next game. Let's hit the Nuggets. Denver, man. I mean, Denver is in a solid spot. And the difference here continues to be no Steven Adams. That's just the difference right now. He's out again on Saturday. Don't expect him to play against the Nuggets. That's been killing them up front. Well, no Aaron Gordon for the Nuggets. Who cares? This is such an open opportunity for Nikola Jokic to control the front court of the game to where everything you get from him is a simple bonus. You get a 3 from Jokic, that's a bonus. It's going to open up passing lanes. The lack of rebounding to nullify what, or at least mitigate what Jokic can do is going to be totally evident. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be worked over and then some. And they don't have enough without Steven Adams against this specific team, against that guy. They don't. So I look at this game and I think, well, the advantage is clearly there. And we're talking about an MVP, if not the MVP. Mike Malone was just going on and on. Jamal Murray back creates another dynamic now for a team like Memphis to where they have to deal with this. It's not just, well, you have to get something offensively out of Ja Morant, which we just saw was non-existent against the Sixers. But now you need defensive efforts in the backcourt. You need to be able to outlast and outscore what you're getting from Jamal Murray, on top of the fact that there is a major absence up front that hasn't been as exploited as it will be tonight, Saturday night, with Jokic and the Nuggets. So there we go. This game is about that one issue, that one matchup problem for Memphis, and taking advantage of it from the Denver side. All right, now let's do it. This is where it gets fun. This is where I think you start to look at the Sixers as, and we're going to look at it specifically with this game, with this line. Right now, Joel Embiid is playing. Right now, the line is anticipating that Joel Embiid plays through this foot injury, non-COVID illness, whatever the fuck's the latest with Embiid. And I don't mean that as a negative. I mean, like, just the reality. Okay, it's fine. He's playing through it. That's a good thing. You out there, anybody who's been complaining, anybody who's been bitching about load management, where are the stars? How many games is Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Anthony Davis, Zion Williamson? How many games are these guys? You know who's playing basketball games basically every single night? You know who else is playing basketball games basically every single night? So anybody who's ever had an issue with load management, take back all the negative shit you've ever said. Sixers have a just distinct advantage, yet they give up a ridiculous amount on the perimeter. This is a problem. It's a problem. I anticipate the Sixers are going to be down early. They have this uncanny knack to not even feed and fuel right away off the home court advantage, but it's there. And it usually takes a little bit. And this team is going to be jacked up, and you're going to see, as we just saw against Memphis, as bad as it may look in the first quarter and the first half, I would live bet them. If you see them down 10, what have you, live bet them on the spread. Here's what I'll say. This is the caveat. We're going to lock up the Sixers. Make sure of that for Kennedy's sanity here, as she's producing the video each and every week. Yeah, we're going to lock up the Sixers here on the money line right now, with one caveat. If you are a patient individual, if you prefer to wait and see how this thing plays out, you're not going to lose any value. So for the video, for the sake of what's going on right now, I'm going to take the Sixers plus 100, or this guy plus 100. But in real life, what I would suggest is wait, because if the Sixers rule Embiid out for whatever reason, virus or foot, what have you, this line is going to move a little more. And that's when you can take the Sixers on the spread. Embiid is out, Sixers on the spread. Embiid is in, Sixers on the money line. Savvy? Okay, it works. Now, let me tell you about what's going on in the Discord. This is easy stuff. Very easy stuff. I'm going to give you 50% off your first week. Just come hang with us. See what's what. We're doing a lot in the NBA. I told you. I mean, you want to look at this here. This is over my face. I mean, this is, crush this 14-leg parlay. That's really what we're doing here. All right? Just to show you, this is part of it. Again, you're going to get half off. There's a link below. You can sign up. We want you here. I know you see this throughout the week with Lindquist. He's telling you, come join us, come join us, come join us. Eric and I, very active. Ben Raza, very active. Matt Gajeski, Isaiah from the written side. Narco Cop with MMA. Isaiah covers everything, by the way. Lofty, I mentioned him, right? Gajeski, Greg Ehrenberg. All the faces that you see on here, we're over there. So come hang with us. It's not all the things that we do. I mean, we've got some other stuff here as well, if I may. Nice little futures ticket. We hit that in the NFL. College parlays. I know you want parlays. I got parlays. This is a monster 14 pick plus 5,000 parlay. I have that. I have college basketball parlays. I have NHL action. I even have a Jalen Brunson ladder. You want that? I'll hit that. We do ladders. We do parlays. We do it all. Again, click the link below. Half off. It's super easy. It's super simple. All right? That's all. That's it. All right, last play for you here is going to be the over in the Utah game. San Antonio. Man. This team is just, it's really bad right now. But they want that. That's what they want. Just like with Detroit, it's what they want. San Antonio is in a race right now to finish below Houston. Can they do it? I think so, but they've lost 15 straight. They're giving up 123 points per game. Now, they're also scoring, and that's where I think the over comes into play here. Utah it's so tough to tank when you've got two scorers in Lauri Markkanen who can get you 30 and Jordan Clarkson who can get you 25 both on the same night. San Antonio is going to give up a lot of buckets. Houston, watch out because the Spurs are coming. They're going to lose their 16th game, but it's going to be in glorious fashion. So let's end and go over 242 with this Jazz Spurs game. Thanks again. You've got some work cut out for you, right? Thumbs up, subscribe. Always appreciate that. We'll be back to look at Sunday slate. Told you about the Discord, told you about DraftKings. On your way out, here's your reminder. Live show, it's the Odd Shop, 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. That starts Monday, this Monday, with Lofty and Rasa. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss anything here on the channel. Great night.